what in power. After election time, people know how important. After election, when we talk, they say we are Muslim minority.
Yeah. They say the evil a man does live after him, but the good is often interred with his boot. So let it be with Caesar. And what for Clipper? If for Clipper, my people tired of suffering. We need a change. Listen. You not need to tell me what's happy. I can see it in your eye, no something happy. I can see it. You're not talking, but your heart talking. Telling me you're hungry, you're not getting nothing. You're bold, you can't afford. Some of your life more than dig hole and cover hole. Some of your lost you the civil war. Some of your breadwinners sitting home, government said no job. You're fed up with the hard living. Just to survive, some of your inner in the street baking. Because the people who's supposed to help you, who you're voted for, look at how they turn their back on you. They lie. They're not finished with the poverty reduction strategy. They lie to your division 2030. So empty. So Kale and give it. At the end, they defeat all of your improperty. Calamity. I wish I was a millionaire. And someone there I know and Ryan, let me make it clear. Instead of Johnny politics, I will build horses. Get loans to the poor so they can pay taxes. Yeah.
Make you lead it, I know. Make you lead it, I know.
You know what it mean? You get eye, you can't see. You get mob, you can't talk, your folk can't even walk. Tell me, people hating you because you hear the cap. They go, why you got the man in the cap? You're all in the community. What if I say it for those with disability? Then come and say they reopen the school. You now see hungry people go to school. Instead of giving job to the jobless, hope to the hopeless, home to the homeless. They manipulate the system and make it worse. Now they come and make it even by the cup of rest. One man in more than 3 positions. The same thing they were against when they were opposition. You tell me what we leading to. So they think they got peace and justice, nothing for the poor. To be your money, they want you sell your soul. Either you cross the road or you bend down low. All I lie, I pray that my people rise. That one day God will show they get all of them cry.
Wallah, make you lead it, I know. Make you lead it, I know.
You know, when I see my country blessed with all the natural resources, and yet instead I see my people living in agile poverty, then I question myself, where have we gone wrong? I just wish I had the power to share the national cake, so everybody can have a taste.
For all they say, we go to school, so no job for all, we get pregnant. Hustling in the street now, they have money beyond do. I didn't get what chair, all they take your market, what they want to do now?
Well, I'm a graduate of the state-run university, and everywhere I have applied, they are asking me for 10 years experience, and that is impossible.
We the AFL them widows, the government promised us our husbands benefits, and up to now we can't see it.
No good, bro. No good school. The health sector poor.
All right. The health sector is poor. Indeed, the health sector poor.
Anything that can check out bottles and politicians stay giving us empty promises. What happened now?
Who to trust? In fact, who rather lay in a complaint to? They will listen to all what they in power.
They will never listen to us. Once they in power, they will never listen to us.
Power? After election time, people know how important. After election, when we talk, they say we are
Muslim minority.
Yeah.
All right. It is what it is. Today is another beautiful day, and today is Monday, October 20, 2025. That's how I would like to welcome all of you to the Humanity Conversation. But a good afternoon, good evening, based on your location, whatever you're watching from, to all of our esteemed followers. My name is Morrison, Dassin Jr., and I'm in studio with my colleagues, Ambassador Paul Dinapi Doe. So, Ambassador Doe, what's up? Good afternoon from my end.
Yeah, a warm welcome and good afternoon as well from Morovia. It's just that I'm not too happy today because the famous Mandela Forum have been demolished. Forum that have been in existing for over 12 years now have been demolished today in line with government regulation because we are squatting on government's property. So today we're asked to leave officially. This morning we have been around to ensure that the boys, the men and women that gather to the forum on a daily basis leave the place successfully and the demolition process. I've already recalled we remove some of the materials now from the forum and let's try to remove the planks and things. So actually, as a founding member and first democratic chairman, I'm not too happy, but I have to build my resilience. But however, I'm doing great.
Uh, Sorry to hear that, my dear brother. Sorry to hear that. So we hope and pray
Ajay,
that the Nelson Mandela
AJMB.
Intellectual Forum, yeah, we hope and pray that the Nelson Mandela Intellectual Forum can find a better place to reconstruct their forum so that they can have that peaceful and intellectual discussion as usual. So we pray that you guys find a better place so that you can revamp the Nelson Mandela Intellectual Forum because that forum have been one of the most talked about in District 17. So and you guys can't just allow it to just go down just like that. So by God grace, the Nelson Mandela Intellectual Forum will revamp and the structure that will be built, it will be more than the one that was there before. So we say sorry to you guys. We are in solidarity with you guys. So gentlemen, welcome to the conversation.
Yeah, it's great to be here. How you guys doing?
Oh,
I'm doing
I'm doing great for my end.
yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Just that as Chairman do say, we are badly downhearted based on the demolition of the front today. But that development at JMB.
Mhm. Sure. All right. So if you're just joining, this is the Humanity Conversation. The Humanity Conversation is a podcast that highlights major human interest stories and development in Liberia and other part of the world. Today is Monday, October 2025. And I'm Morrison Dassin, Jr. in Studio 7 as co-host alongside with the host, Amadu Morris, and the rest of the panelists in studio today. So what do we have for you today? Today we will be discussing on is continuous assessment better than final exam. So basically this will be the topic for us for today on the recess period segment, while on the other end we will still open the line as usual to accept calls from students in Liberia so that they can win accept recess for the course of the week. But the discussion will continue. So the host Amadu L. Morris going to take over. Amadu, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. I would like to say welcome to every other panelist, and I hope that we have a fruitful conversation today. It's good to be here, and today our topic is continual assessment. Is continual assessment better than final exam? Well, just to set the pace, and other panelists can come in. For me, I benefited from both. But let's first know what is a continual assessment is. It's a evaluation based on quiz, assignment, participation, project, attendance, and short terms. For example, in continuous assessment, the teachers, the students, all need to be on campus almost every day. Grades are from the quizzes, are from the assignment, and class participation. This kind of system, the teacher have to have a, a measure put in place in order to collect all of the data, making sure it is accurate and be able to grade the students at the end of a period. Not based on a periodic test, but based on this assessment we talk about. And the final exam is the single major test that determines the student grade, which of course that is a system in our country. So today the question is continual assessment better than final exams? Because across Liberia, final exam is a pressure that we all worried about. At the end of the day, when the period ends, we have to study, long term, and be able to make a grade. But in the continual assessment, we have to be on campus every day because there's a specific grading system. I talk about quizzes, class participation, assignment. At the end of a period, then you be able to grade. Now, the question is continual assessment better than the final exam? If you oppose, tell us why. And if you think that continual assessment is better, tell why and find let's see how best we can implement in our school system. For me, I've benefited from both. I had an opportunity to go to a school where they do continual assessment. And many days I would tell my friends that I go to school every day. My parents will be like, why am I always want to go to school even there's no major activities? Even when people doing like quarter day and all that stuff, I still want to go to class because I know that all of it benefit me based on getting my grade, not with the periodic exam or test. So we're going to start this with Gabriel. Gabriel, what is a take on continual assessments and that of final exams?
Yeah, and thank you, and thank you, and Mr. Morris, and I want to say and hello there to the fellow panelists and those that are watching us. My take on this question is continual assessment is preferable, is better than final exam, and this is why, right? Because in continual assessment, right, and students' records are tracked, right? Your core value or the aim of the topic or the subject in general, right? Through a continuum process, through a continual assessment process, the teacher understand that okay, and what I'm teaching or what I'm presenting is being understood by the pupil, by the students, right? And also it also and create that evaluation space even for students themselves, right? Because has they been continuously assessed based on what have been taught to them or what is being teach, what is being taught to them, they understand that okay, and this one is difficult for me, or this one is giving me like tough time, right? Then they give teacher feedbacks, right? Like okay, and Mr. Do, like what you taught the last time or the topic that you discussed the last time, and I didn't get it clearly. Yes, right. And at times, especially when it comes to the issue of and mathematics and things that have to do with the issue of solving problem, continual assessment also play a larger role in that aspect. So I think and believe that continual assessment is way better, right, than final exam, right? Because even at final exam, there are times that and you are all frustrated over something, you are exhausted over something. There are times that you don't feel right when you wake up, and that day could be a final exam day, right? And then in that moment, you might not be able to like do your best, right? So, but if that is only be if that final exam is the only means of assessment, or is it just a final, or the only means of a teacher knowing if a student or students are like and understanding the course, then definitely that person in that situation who is not in his or her full mind at that moment due to some extended factor must score low, right? And maybe the teachers man would think that okay, this person has not been following or has not been taking the lesson seriously, right? So continual assessment, in my mind, is the best, right? And but notwithstanding, and has continual assessment being the best, there are also mentors in which that you have to carry on in the assessment, right? Right, like for example, right, and in carrying on an assessment, right, the first thing is and the aim of the aim of that subject or the aim of that course of which the teacher is trying to build in his or her students, right, have to be first jotted down, right? Okay, like for example, we are teaching Liberia series and topic the Constitution, right? So the aim now of that subject is what is of that topic is for students to know first what is a constitution and what are things that are embedded in that within a constitution. So that aim will first have to be established, and it is a teacher who has a responsibility of narrowing that subject, that topic down to the understanding of the students. But in conclusion, and continual assessment is way better than just final exam.
Amadu, Amadu going beyond stage. Amadu, are you there?
Yeah, sorry for that direct call that help, but we talked that already.
All right.
Yeah, we can continue.
Yeah, Gabriel just got you.
So you're listening to Gripper. So if you can question a bit as co-host with our PM. Yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel. If I will get you clear before before Amadu come in, what was your last statement when it comes to the continual assessment better than final exam? Then I will know which one the question to come with to us.
Yeah, and I said continual assessment is better than final exam because it get a track record. It make a teacher understand or know that whatsoever he or she is teaching to her students, that they are in line. They are actually picking up. Because if you just say only final exam, then it means that you reach at the point where the students have already failed, or the time for that course or the time for that subject have already passed. Because the final exam is a point where there is no more lecture behind it. So the continual assessment is more better because it gives and teachers and students the ample time to know if the aim of that lesson is being achieved.
Okay, so I think I want to ask you this question. So if you saying that assessment is better than final exam, uh, can you for our audience, can you actually distinguish the broad perspective about assessment and lack of final exam so that people watching this live can actually understand that or co-star with you based on what you're saying that assessment is better than final exam because for me, what I see here that prompted me to ask you this question, assessment are a broader thing that encompasses various mentors and tools to measure and understand an individual learning process. You got that? So,
Mhm.
can you actually tell our audience, people that are following the broad perspective when it comes to the assessment, just break it down simple and that they can understand that make it better than final exam?
All right. So the thing here is there is a huge similarity here in the two, right? Because final exam is also an assessment, right? But the difference is final exam is just one test. It's just one test, and then and the continual assessment is pieces of class work and class participation, right? So that's the difference. And one class work or day in class will not define that such person has not achieved his or her goal. What you define here is it define that either this person is not in line or the person is in line. But as a final exam, it come at a conclusion where you are in line or you are not in line. Finish. There's nothing beyond that because it is a final. So from a broad perspective, is when you who understand about series, right? If that person is wrong or if that person is right, from there the teacher will then grab if the person is understanding or not, and that gives the teacher the chance to add up and change his or her form of teaching in order for the student to get it or improve on it or be satisfied with it based on the result that he or she has from our students. Found that if you make a correction, but then it's not going to be in that test anymore. It's going to be maybe either you fail or you pass. But continuous assessment give you the time, give you the energy to improve or to change the form or direction of which you are presenting.
Thank you, Blamo. So if you are just joining us, our topic today is continuous assessment better than final exams? So for our follow-up, continuous assessment is evaluations based on quizzes, assignment, class participation, project, and short terms throughout the period. And while final exam is just a single major test, like in Gabriel, you can say our grading system is 100, right? Some schools do a bit of continuous assessment where they say quiz go for 40 and then test go for 60. Now, the question here is, which one is better? More especially if continuous assessment better than final exam. And Mr. Doe, we want to hear from you on this.
Yeah, Amadu, thank you for.
All right. Let me just hold Mr. Doe there. Before Mr. Doe can come in, let me welcome our dear brother and George Bede. George, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you for the show, and thank God all of us we are back. I want to say sorry for my stay out of the show for the past days due to some busy and national engagement. So I just want to apologize for being absent all the days.
All right, bro. Thank you so much. Ambassador Doe, you can continue.
Yeah, okay, thank you, and thanks to all of our listeners. For the question posed to me, I think continuous assessment in my mind is important because when we talk about continuous assessment in education, it's a process in which you evaluate the child every day. That's continuous assessment. You give evaluation every day. It means when you teach a particular topic today, at the end of your period, if you have, like for instance, 1 hour or 45 minutes in the class, because the time allotted to each period varies from one school to another. So for instance, you are teaching for 50 minutes. You could teach for 40 minutes and your balance 10 minutes, you could give your assessment. So continuous assessment also is a step. As Amadu said, it is a step where every step of that child, you grade that child. Like for instance, you say class participation is 10 points, or assignment is 5 points, homework, attendance, and then for the major test is example 50 points. So you carry on continuous assessment so as to allow the child come to school every day, so as to afford the child the opportunity for he or she to study that lesson on a regular basis. And it creates in the children we call the student-centered mentor. There are two mentors people use for evaluation, or there are two mentors people use to pull forth their lesson. You have the teacher, the student and teacher-centered mentor, or you use the student-centered mentor. The continuous assessment will improve the student-centered mentor. So what do I mean by student-centered mentor? It means the students themselves will participate in the subject. The student themselves will have the time to be asking you the teacher question, to be demonstrating and be asking each other question, and the class will be participatory. That affords the student continuous assessment, affords the student the opportunity to bring out their best, and it helps them to pass. Like for final exam is a little bit difficult because in our Liberian parlance or setting we say one blow. So if possible at that time, you taught more than three. You taught more than three or topics. You taught more than three topics in the class before the final exam. If possible, the student may not be able to retain everything they will fail in the test. But when you introduce continuous assessment, you allow the students to participate, and the student will study on a daily basis so as to meet up with the lesson that will be taught and introduced every day. But continuous assessment in Liberia at the level of the way our parents pay our fees, it has some disadvantage. And the disadvantage doing continuous assessment, unless parents pay their school fee, their child's school fees in full. But when you have a parent that don't pay the money on time, continuous assessment is not 100% good, because doing continuous assessment, you don't send the child home for school fees, because the child must be in school every time so as to participate in the lesson and be able to meet the mark or the points. So like for instance, most of the schools in our country are around the period of tests. You will see that the registrar or the business office will come and say, we are sending students home for school fees. So at that time, when I continue assessment, you will not have the opportunity to send the child home, because there is no set day for tests. Like for instance, we send the children fighting for 100 points throughout the full instructional week. It is your responsibility as a teacher to give your activities until the full or the 6th week for teaching finish. When it finished, that period is over. So I think in my mind, continuous assessment is preferable. And the last time I checked the ministry, I read the ministry manifesto, the calendar event, and the ministry is encouraging continuous assessment in Liberia to help the school-going kids pass, because it also allows the student to pass. Because if you introduce continuous assessment, if every day the child must give his or her best to ensure that they grab the lesson, and then you'll not be giving them bucket tests. Like for instance, you are teaching or the part of speech. Once you talk about the part of speech, like for instance, you talk about now, you explain now. You can give maybe 5 to 6 point quiz, and you'll see each of the students in the class responding to what is now and giving example of now. You could give an assignment. The students will do the assignment because they know that at the end of the day, their inability to submit the assignment, they will not have grade, so they will be able to do the assignment. They will be curious to learn. But final exam, sometimes students can feel so weak. Students can feel, that the lesson is too bulky on them, and then they feel weak to study. So for me, I appreciate or continuous assessment. That's my own take on that.
Thank you, Mr. Boone. Thanks so much for the take.
All right.
And yeah, Morrison.
Yeah, I want to ask Mr. Doe the question. Mr. Doe, you said from your end, you prefer continuous assessment, and we know in our setting, final exam give the students the average or the advantage to make them understand that, oh yes, they will whether they will be promoted to the next grade or XYZ. But now you're talking about you prefer continuous assessment. If you're talking about the continuous assessment, how are these students going to know that they will be promoted to the next grade if you considering continuous assessment?
So continuous assessment means continuous or testing or giving an exam. That what we call continuous evaluation.
Okay.
What is meant by continuous assessment? So Morrison, the child will pass because you have a total points that they are fighting for, or they are well fighting for in it that they are working towards. So like for instance, we say the first period, you said students you are working for 100 points, but there is no set day for test or final test. So the 100 points, you break it down with activities. That every quiz I gave you after presenting my lesson, we are going to take an urgent quiz in the class, so that 5 points. So you are working within that range until the 6th week of instruction, because we have 4 weeks for instruction, 1 week for revision, 1 week for test. So you are taking the 6 weeks and divide it by the number of points the students are fighting for, and you will get their total grade, and you get a grade for that period. So even when the child will pass, the child will know his or her performance, because every day they will see Every day they will see the score, the points they are making. As my colleague said, it gave you the student, you the teacher, the opportunity to have full record on the student. Because if you introduce continuous assessment, it means you have to have your ledger or your grade book where you say, for example, Paul Dogon or 10 over 15 points. So Paul don't know that we have 15 points, and then I got 10, we are left with 85 points. So the next time again, Paul will know that when you introduce 5 points, Paul will know that it balance 80 points. So you will know at the end of the period, you will know your grade, even before the teacher call you to show you your grade or post the grade on the bulletin, because a trained instructor must always be in a position to show the student their progress report before you get on the master grade sheet. At the end of the period, you can call your students and say, oh, Paul Doe, for example, or John Brown, for example, come and see your grade. So the student can see their grade. It will also help to motivate them. So whether you have a set exam, you don't have a set exam, continuous assessment can also do what the set final can also do. But it is a point that the different, you will have to do more work to arrive at one grade as compared to final exam. Final exam is considered one blow, but continuous assessment is a pieces of work. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Joy, I think you kept following the discussions. We are talking about continuing assessment, where students will not be precious for final exam, they have to study. We are asking these questions. These are discussions we should be doing to see how best we can help our educational systems. Because we're talking about continuing assessment here. Get this clear. Exam is an assessment, while continuous assessment, quizzes, assignment, class participation is also an assessment. But we ask which one will be better? Is continuous assessment better than final exams? So what is your take?
Let me say good afternoon again for our panelists. And let me say a very big thank you to one of our veteran educator, Mr. Doe, who have provided a broad understanding about continuous assessment and that of final exam. You know, even though some of us from the criminal justice angle, we are not an educator, but however, we will make our input in the interest of uplifting or developing our educational system within Liberia. President, if you look at the continuous assessment, this is an assessment that has to do with within the educational sector. It has to do with every day you come, the teachers ask you, or you go for, let's say, a flashback. For example, the teacher gave note, and then or the instructor or the professor, he can't lecture there. The next day he can't apply and say, what did we lecture on yesterday? And then we gave a flashback. And also, let's say a recap. So it is part of the continuous assessment. It enables the student to be on track or to know what they did for the past day or the previous day before going to the next topic. It also has to do with the issue of continuous assessment. It also has to do with presentation. Like most of most of the courses that we do today in our colleges or high schools, the reason why you see some students today are poor in public speaking is because the teacher or the professor sometimes when they give assignment, instead of they allowing these students as part of continuous assessment to come and present that assignment to their fellow student, they sometimes leave it. They know it. But it is also helpful when it comes to continuous assessment in the educational sector. So these are all or elements. These are all elements, or these are the ingredients that run the continuous assessment when it comes to the educational system. It also helps to reduce the issue of cramming. Like some students, they will wait for a final exam, you see them taking book to study, and right after the exam, they will not remember what they have written on that paper. Sometimes this is why you find out, even for students to go and defend the test. You say, oh, the man cheat me. The man cheat me. He not give me the grade as well again. You gave it to me. Then when they call them to go and defend that test, they will not be able to defend it because they went straight for final exam theory. They used the theory of final exam that they only study for that test. Right after the test, everything is gone. So in continuous assessment, it helps you to reduce the cramming. It will make you to get glued to your note. You will get glued to your course that you're doing. Like for example, you doing if you do criminal justice or you do education, you will not come or you will not. You ask the man to elaborate on the issue of education. He will elaborate or in a wide space because it is something that he's doing continuously. You will not tell the man say can't elaborate on criminal justice. That is just a scenario. It is almost like intertwined with the continuous assessment. That the final exam. Final exam is just about administering a test. It's a comprehensive stuff that is put together from the continuous assessment to evaluate the student as to whether they were actually reading their note or they have been studying. That is, there were so many continuous assessment. If you look at the analysis, the final exam is taken from the continuous assessment. The note that we read every day or the lecture that the professor come in lecture or every day, at the end of the day, there were final exam is being drawn from. So today in our educational system, it is our prayer, or it is our recommendation, our continual recommendation to the Ministry of Education to work with the continuous assessment in order for our students to be on track, in order for our students to be able to represent what they are reading. Because if you don't do it, the student will not be able to defend what he or she is telling. Because at the end of the day, if you are not punctual on assessing that student or assessing what although material you are teaching, my brother, at the end of the day, you find out that the student, you tell them to do this, they'll be saying different thing, and then while you're looking at different things. So for me, in my mind, the issue of continual assessment in our present day, it is very important. It is genuine. It is good to our educational system today, because if we leave the continual assessment and then focus on final exam, because you know that some instructors they are in the habit of these things. They don't teach the material to the student and then wait for a test. You see sometimes some student can be complaining, say, the other thing said me and I even do it in school. Like, you know what bringing the failure in WAS in this country is because of the lacking of what continual assessment. Sometimes you see some student, they may say, but the other thing I even do it in school. The other diagram, I see it before in biology. In chemistry, what kind of formula is so? And I even do the other thing here in math. But we do the math here, we do the topic, we not do the topic. Because the instructor or the professor only want to wait for the final exam. So he jump over most of the topic that our students are not doing, and then we go to final exam and we flaunt. We go with cramming. We say, oh, we're making the test. to give you a high expectation. So in a nutshell, the continuous assessment is good for our educational system today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. So thanks to every panelist. And continuous assessment encourages consistent study. And evaluation is based on the students coming to school, knowing their activity at home. And I hope Morrison can come back and I'll be able to ask him these questions. Because I always let them mention, since he understand their system, because I hear Mr. Doe saying that, Mr. Doe, if I get it clear, he said Ministry of Education is encouraging people to do continuous assessment. Is that it? Mr. Doe, are you there? Hello? Hello, are you getting me?
Are you there?
Yeah, do I think your mic is muted?
I'm not hearing you. Hello?
Are we there? Are we there? And the network, are we there, Claire?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yes, I said the ministry is encouraging schools to do.
Mr. Doe, are you
there?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm getting you loud and clear. You getting me?
Are
you getting me? I'm saying the ministry is encouraging.
Yeah, we get you.
I'm saying the ministry is encouraging schools to practice continuous assessment. So this year calendar, the ministry has it in their plan for continuous assessment. So other schools are doing continuous assessment where the students go to school, they get points, how the grading system are break down, and you can derive at the final grade. That is a continuous assessment. So the ministry has considered that. I think 11 schools now across the country to continue to live with what the ministry said.
All right, thank you. So, myself, I agree with the continuous assessment because not many students, right? The kind of grading system we get by one test. Once you go to the test, study all through, and then you take that particular test. Now, there is a system that we need to implement in every part of our educational sectors. And what I normally do in my computer training, because one thing I believe in is when the students say, I can do this, they should recently know practically, not just by saying it. So you first take the lecture and see if you get a classwork. Now, this classwork will help you to inform you that if you can continue teaching. And when you also do the assignments, the class participation, it will determine every students, because not many students good at studying just to pass. So where, like Mr. Doe said, the person will know that grade, you too as a teacher will know their ability and their weakness. Now, this do continuous assessment help teachers truly know the ability of the students? Because someone is saying that this scholars who is good at their topics or lesson, meaning final exam. But what about the continuous assessment? Do it help us to know the student ability? Joy will start with you on this.
Come again with a question.
All right. Continuous assessment. Do continuous assessment truly help students or teachers to help to know the student ability? They help the teachers to know the student ability. Somebody saying exams help the teacher to know the student ability.
So he
Why
was saying
about
that
continual assessment to know who the student is, what they are good at?
Yeah, like I would say yes, the continuous assessment will help the teacher to know the student ability in that the quizzes the teacher will give, the assignment, the presentation of those material that the teacher will be giving before the final exam. You will know whether that student will perform. Number one, from the the quizzes. Normally, teacher gave quizzes to evaluate the students. And when you get that quiz or quizzes, some teacher they got quiz number 1, quiz number 2, even somebody gave up to quiz number 3 to strengthen the student to know your ability, whether you perform. Now, someone get assignment. When they get assignment, and then all of these things will blend together to help you for the final exam. Because remember, some students, the quizzes, because it will speaking sometimes, but in the majority, sincerely speaking, if you will know that a student is good or is doing well in your course, you will definitely know from these or activities or the assessment, the different assessment until the final exam time. Because normally you some instructor, they will get all those activities sometimes for 60 points, and then the test go for 40, because they know at the end of the day, I already know the ability of the student in the various activities that I have given. You see it? So the final exam now, there where I will do the scaling. Because final exam is almost like the overall, all those things you've been doing. Assignment, quizzes, your presentation, all the one, your class participation, your attendance, all the one, your dress code, your all the different things make up certain percentage of the grade. And then at the end of the go to the final exam, the instructor or the professor will look at the performance from the classroom all the way to the final exam. So the continuous assessment can make you to know definitely that this student can go, or when they sit for the final exam, they will pass the test. And it will tell you that this student, even they sit down for the test more than 10 times, they will not pass it. So in order for that student to pass that test, the continuous assessment have to be more effective.
We are facing some technical issues. Hello, I just been informed we are facing some technical issues, and it is beyond the Morrison control. We have to restart the machine. So you know the technology now sometimes feel along the way. So guys, we end the show here. If anything will inform you, please. It's behind control. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Tepennoh, how is that?
I'm doing great, Gabriel. So that
You know, engage that sound of mail.
come back.
They say the evil in man does live after him, but the good is often tear with his boot. So let it be with Caesar. And what for Clipper? If for Clipper, my people tired suffering. We need a change. Listen, you're not need to tell me what's happy. I can see it in your eye, no something happy. I can see it. You're not talking, but your heart talking. Telling me you're hungry, you're not getting nothing. You're bold, you can't afford. Some of your life more than dig hole and cover hole. Some of your lost you the civil war. Some of your breadwinners said they won't come and say no job. You're fed up with the hard living. Just to survive, some of your inner in the street baking. We call the people who's able to help you. Who you're voted for, look at how they turn their back on you. They lie. They're not finished with the poverty reduction strategy. They lie to your division 2030. So empty. So collect and give it. At the end, they defeat all of your impoverty. Calamity. I wish I was a millionaire. And someone there I know and right, let me make it clear. Instead of joining politics, I will build horses. Get loans to the poor so they can pay taxes.
Allah, me kuli de jainu, me kuli de jainu. Wala, wala na de nu me kuli de jainu, me kuli de
You know what it mean? You get eye, you can't see. You get mob, you can't talk, your folk can't even walk. Tell me, people hating you because you hear the cap. Hey God, why you got to make in the cap? Low all in the community. What if I say it for those with disability? Then come and say they reopen the school. You now see hungry people go to school. Instead of giving job to the jobless, hope to the hopeless, home to the homeless. They manipulate the system and make it worse. Now they come on make it even by the cup of rest. One man in more than 3 positions. They same thing they were against when they were opposition. You tell me what we leading to. So they think they got peace and justice, nothing for the poor. To be a money, they want you sell your soul. Either you cross the road or you bend down low. All a lie, I pray that my people rise. That one day God will show they are all of them cry.
Wallah, when me kuli de jainu, me kuli de jainu.
You know, when I see my country blessed with all the natural resources, and yet instead I see my people living in abject poverty, then I question myself, where have we gone wrong? I just wish I had the power to share the national cake, so everybody can have a taste.
For all they say, we go to school, so no job for all, we get pregnant. Hustling in the screen and they have money beyond do. I didn't get what chair, all they take our market, what they want to do now?
Well, I'm a graduate of the state-run university, and everywhere I have applied, they are asking me for 10 years experience, and that is impossible.
We the AFL them widows, they cover